I want you to picture something. A 23-year-old sitting in a coffee shop, scrolling Instagram, watches cars, a private jet someone clearly rented for 10 minutes just to take a photo, and somewhere deep inside a quiet voice says, I need that, I need it. Now, that voice has kept more people poor than bad luck, bad markets, or bad jobs combined. Because here's something nobody wants to admit. Almost every millionaire you've ever seen flexing online bought the watch, the car, the house years after the money was already there. Not before, after the toys came later, almost as an afterthought. But the version of wealth building sold to you online has it backwards. It tells you to look rich now and figure out the substance later. And that single reversal, buying the result before you've earned it, is the most expensive financial decision most people will ever make. 5 principles, the real ones, the ones that separate the people who quietly become wealthy in their 20s from the people who simply look like they have, right up until the moment it all falls apart. This is not motivation, this is reprogramming. Let's begin principle number 1, delayed gratification. Let me tell you about a man who built an eyewear company, a consulting business with 70 full-time employees, and crossed 8 figures before he ever owned a car worth talking about. His first car came after he had already made it. Not a supercar, a Range Rover bought years after the money was real, not before it. Compare that to almost everyone you know who's genuinely struggling financially. It is rarely the income that is the problem. It is the order of operations. Money comes in, and instead of feeding the thing that produces more money, it gets spent on the thing that signals money has arrived. The business that needed reinvestment gets starved, the skill that needed building gets ignored, and the toys, the watch, the car, the trip, they arrive first, loud and visible, while the foundation underneath them is still made of sand. Here's what makes this principle so hard. Delayed gratification does not feel like progress. It feels like nothing is happening. You put money back into your skills, your business, buying back your time, and from the outside, nothing has changed. Just the same quiet life, month after month, while the gap between what you earn and what you spend slowly and visibly widens. That widening gap is the entire game. Every public victory, the car, the house, the watch, sits on top of a stack of private victories nobody saw. You cannot skip the stack and still expect the ceiling to hold. Principle number 2, right boat, wrong boat. There's a quote that should be tattooed on the inside of every young person's eyelids. It is not about how hard you row, it is about what boat you're in. Most people trying to build wealth in their 20s make the same mistake. They either play it so safe they never start anything, or they go so big, so fast that one bad outcome wipes them out completely. Both are the wrong boat. The right boat looks almost boring by comparison. A business or side hustle that does not require enormous capital to start. Something you can fail at quietly, repeatedly for a long time, without it costing you your financial future. Not a startup where you're betting $500,000 on a single roll of the dice. This is about understanding the difference between a business that produces real cash flow you can actually use, and a business that looks impressive on paper but leaves you with no liquidity at all. A company can be growing in valuation, attracting investors, looking incredible from the outside, while the person running it cannot access a single dollar of it. That is not wealth. That is a number on a screen. So before you commit to any boat, ask yourself the only question that matters. If I had to sell everything I own in the next 30 days, would there actually be money at the end of it? If the honest answer is no, you may be building something impressive, but you're not yet building wealth. You can use principle number 3. Your parents' playbook is not your playbook. This one is uncomfortable, so let's say it directly. Your parents love you more than you will ever fully understand, and the advice they are giving you is almost certainly wrong for the world you're actually living in, not because they are foolish, because the game changed underneath them 20 or 30 years ago. The playbook was simple. Go to university, get a stable job, climb the ladder slowly. That worked because the economy of that era rewarded exactly that kind of patience. It is a very different time now. The path that built security for your parents' generation is for most people no longer the fastest path to financial freedom today. So when a parent says this new path is too risky, the safe job is the smart move. They are not lying. They are reporting back from a map of a country that no longer exists in the same shape. The hardest, most necessary thing a young person can do is listen to that advice with love and then quietly choose a different route anyway. This does not mean ignoring everything older generations learned. The wisdom about character and integrity carries forward no matter the era. But the specific playbook, the exact steps, the exact level of risk that made sense back then, that part you have to rewrite for yourself. One day you will be the parent giving advice to a child living in a world that has changed again. Respect the love behind the advice. Question the map. It was drawn on principle number 4. Invest in yourself before anything else. Here's a number that should genuinely shock you. A successful entrepreneur once spent $250,000 on 10 calls with someone whose advice he needed. Not because he had to, because he understood something most people never do. The highest return on investment in the entire world is not a stock, not real estate. It is you think of yourself the way a race team thinks about their car. Constantly upgraded, faster, more efficient. Every dollar reinvested into making the vehicle perform at a higher level than it did the year before. That is what investing in yourself means in practice. Seeking out the best mentors, the best knowledge, even when it is expensive, because nothing else compounds quite like your own ability. This does not mean reckless spending disguised as self-improvement. Once your basics are covered, living costs handled, a savings cushion in place, every spare dollar after that becomes a question. Do I put this into the stock market or into becoming someone whose skills are worth dramatically more next year? in your 20s before the portfolio has had time to compound on its own. The second option is almost always the better trade. You are the most valuable asset you will ever own. Treat yourself like it. Principle number 5. Price is not the same thing as cost. This is the mental shift that almost nobody makes, and it quietly costs people tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime without them ever noticing. Most people look at a price tag and believe they have all the information they need. The cheaper number wins, but price is only what you pay today. Cost is what something actually takes from you over the entire time you own it. Picture 2 cars. One is brand new, $60,000, and loses half its value within 3 years, costing you $30,000 by the time you sell it. The other is a well-chosen car that costs $75,000 up front, but only loses $10,000 in value over the same period. The first car had the lower price, the second had the lower cost. The sticker told you nothing true about what you were actually about to lose. The same logic applies to clothing, to tools, to the people you hire. An item priced at $40 that falls apart after a dozen uses has cost you more per use than an item priced at $300 that lasts 12 years. The goal is not to always buy cheap and not to always buy expensive either. Stop asking what something is priced at and start asking what it will actually cost you across its entire lifetime. So let's bring all 5 of these together because none of them work in isolation. Delayed gratification gives you the patience to let the foundation form before the rewards show up. The right boat makes sure the vehicle you're patient inside of can actually take you somewhere. Rewriting your parents' playbook frees you to apply these principles using a timeline that actually fits the world you live in. Now, investing in yourself ensures the asset producing all of this you keeps getting more valuable every year. And understanding cost over price means every dollar that Gap produces is spent with precision instead of illusion. None of this is exciting. None of this will make for a flashy video of someone unboxing a car, but this is the actual architecture underneath every quiet, lasting fortune you have ever admired from a distance. The people flashing the watches you saw on your phone this morning, the ones who triggered that quiet voice that said, I need that, I need it now. Most of them bought those things years after building exactly what I just described to you. The order matters more than almost anything else in this entire conversation. Foundation first, rewards after. That is the whole brainwashing. And now it is yours to keep. If you want to see exactly how to apply these 5 principles to your very first $100, I have left that video right up there. Subscribe if you want to keep building. I will see you in the next one.